We go in studio broadcast.
And welcome back. Welcome back to the studio. That was game number 12, the second match for the day, with Bomberwolf taking out a commanding win against the Wildly Inappropriate team. That knocks the Wildly Inappropriate team out. Bomberwolf goes on to game number 14 against V4 Der. Let me have a look. The next match, game number 13, is going to be an awesome one. This is Reavers versus Space Violence. Both both teams are currently undefeated, so the winner of this will actually go into the final rounds of the tournament. But let's go back to the Bomberwolf versus Wildly Inappropriate match. I only caught the end of it, so Moomin, if you want to give us a bit of a rundown on what happened there.
Yeah, I mean it was an interesting one for sure. Wildly Inappropriate. They lost their Daredevil very early on, but it was great to see like an ibis that was brought along by Arch Sarah. So that was really nice to see. Aside from that, the actual compositions were like really quite similar, with Bomberwolf probably bringing a better kind of like DPS composition. They also brought along a Rook, which was a little unusual to see. Both teams had Balgorns. They both had like a Logi element to them, both with Fleet Hurricane as well. So, in many ways, like very similar. But once that Daredevil went down, the control options for Wildly Inappropriate were reduced significantly. They then lost their Guardian, I think it was. And once that Guardian had gone, then obviously, it was just going to be a race there to actually take him out. Wildly Inappropriate did redeem themselves by taking down the Aneros of Buttfresh. So it kind of got a little bit leveled there, but they were already like too far behind on the rest of it.
So, Gomer, we're seeing a lot of Balgons on the field. Do you think that that's because the actual points requirement for the Balgons is set lower than the rest of the pirate battleships, or you think they're just a good ship for the tournament with those Newton webs?
I think it's a combination of both. Being able to apply DPS and newts with bonuses, and then having the ability to field, say, a flight of medium drones or 4 sentries does a fair amount of DPS. It's not a bad flagship, and that's probably why we're seeing so many being fielded by the teams today.
Yeah, I think it's really potent Ewar as well with the you're able to fit NOS as well, and they continue to work even though your capacitor is higher than the other ship. So that's definitely a bonus, and I think that the Balgorn at its points value is really something which you want to do. Now moving on to game number 13. This is Reavers versus Space Violence. Eric, do you think that we'll see another kiting team from Reavers, and what do you think you will see from Space Violence?
I think trying to predict what Asher's going to do is going to be a little challenging. I think, like Gommel mentioned earlier, he's tried a lot of combinations, and he's going to surprise us. I'm not sure what we're going to see from Space Violence, but I hope. I mean, they're the 2 undefeated teams, right? So I expect a great match.
Yeah, so Space Violence's previous matches, they brought a Scorpion and Navy Harbinger and Brutix. I'm not sure about so the other match against which they won against Bomberwolf. They brought a Balgorn and Navy Harbinger again. So we may see another I'd probably like to see them bring a Balgorn. I think that would work quite well for them. And possibly another Navy Harbinger or a Navy Brutix, but I guess only time will tell. And obviously, like I said, that the loser of that match will go through to game 15. They'll still have an opportunity to play to get into the final round, but basically either Reavers or Space Violence will then go into the finals.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some unusual ships in this particular match. Certainly going to be interesting to see how it pans out.
Just for those watching, the match is about to start in about 1 minute. Just so you know, the red team is Reavers and the blue team is Space Violence. Unfortunately, there have been some server issues today, which mean that we can't display the actual team names. but we'll try and keep you updated on those team colors, or the A and B teams, as it were. Obviously, in this instance, B does not mean not as good as A, because it looks like everybody, the pilots are warping in now. So we'll move.
Right then, Reavers are red, Space Violence is blue. We have a match to entertain you. I just worked that out on the fly. Isn't that great? So on the Reavers team, we've got a Bargus, Fleet Typhoon, an Eros, Pontifex, Purifier, Hound, and a Wiggle. It is definitely pronounced Wiggle. On the blue team,
On the blue team for Space Violence, we have a Navy Scorpion, a Scimitar, an Arnix, a Ferox, a Jackdaw, and a Caracal. So 6-man team. It'll be interesting.
absolutely. So Reavers have decided to go with the full 7, and we've got Space Violence with their 6-man team, and that's always going to be interesting if you bring that extra guy along.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. Do you get the extra target and the advantage of that, or 6-man team with the higher power? We're going to check this out in a few minutes here. 10 seconds till the match starts.
That's it. Well, I'm just having a look at the moment, and I should imagine that Reavers are going to try and keep some distance and control over this, as you would expect. So, how Space Violence are going to be able to pick that apart, we'll have to wait and see how that actually shapes up. Nice to see a Ferox there, though.
Ferox will be interesting, as well as the Jackdaw. I see that the Reavers brought the Bargus, and that's one of the favorite ships in the past from that group. So we'll see how that works.
That's it. And Reaver's going straight for that Caracal there, and he's bang, gone already. He's
Yep.
a good call, because that's a very good anti-support ship, the Caracal historically. So we've got Space Violence trying to work on the Hounds there, or Vikings, or V1 Kings, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah, one of the other interesting things, rather than repping drones, we're seeing some attack drones out on the field today.
Yeah, very much so. And we've still got Space Violence working on that Hound. Target painter on there, seeing if they can actually apply damage. The Ferox over on SV team is being target disrupted. The Onyx there is actually taking most of the brunt of all the DPS coming from Reavers at this time.
Yeah, it looks like they're working out a little harder. They've got the target painter up there, and they're moving around. Actually, they're moving their E-War around.
Yeah, very much so. And I would also expect Reavers to be doing a little bit of target shifting. But that Onyx in trouble now is Manya. Bang, they're gone. So, commanding lead now for Reavers team. The Wiggle is in trouble, though, for Sarin Blackfist.
Yeah, we'll see. He's got a target painter on him now, and it looks like, he caught reps, so we'll see.
That's right. That's a fair chunk of structure that got taken away there. So, they're obviously a bit lucky on that one. Having a look to see what's actually coming over from Reavers now onto Space Violence, and they look a little bit torn between the Ferox on the Jackdaw. I'm expecting them to do a little bit of kind of flicking in damage there to actually maximize the DPS and cause the Scimitar of Zadzad as much problems as possible.
Yeah, that's typically their MO, and they're pretty good about switching those. And it looks like we got another one down.
Yeah, so it is the Jackdaw has gone down. So with the Navy Scorpion, Scimitar, and Ferox remaining for Space Violence, Reavers are 24 points to 0. It looks like they could be going for a clean sweep here.
They were real good. That Ferox, if it goes down quickly, that's pretty much the nail in the coffin. It looks like we still got some damage coming across over on against the Reavers, but
yeah, I just think it's almost like token at this time though, and Asher will be able to deal with that quite comfortably. They are trying to focus on him, but they've already lost too much. There goes the Ferox, reduced now to the Navy Scorpion and Scimitar remaining.
I'm going to be honest. I expected a little more of a prolonged battle here. This is a little different than what Reavers did the other day, right?
Well, I think it kind of. I maybe expected them to maybe skirt around each other a little bit more, and for SV to be a little bit more cautious with their initial kind of setup. But obviously, that Caracal, it's only got a certain amount of range, and you can easily outrange it with the bomber setup. So they probably felt like they had to do something quick to try and get rid of some of that high DPS support wing from Reavers.
Yeah, they're still trying to work on that vigil, as we say over across the pond.
It's wiggle. Everyone knows it's wiggle.
Okay, I'll go with it. So I mean,
we've got that scimitar though of Zadzad. He's like pulling 1,800 meters a second, trying to minimize the damage as much as possible. But there again, it's going to be limited. How many charges they've actually got on that ASB is, they're going to be running out soon.
Yeah, he's really amped it up to over 2K now. But yeah, he's almost lost all his shields, and he's target painted as well.
That Navy Scorpion, though, still going at a fair old lick, like 900 meters per second. Not shabby at all.
No, not at all. And we'll see if they catch them all and get a clean sweep here before time expires. But yep, looks like they're doing pretty good, and Reavers are off to being the only undefeated team in the tournament.
Yeah, there goes the scimitar of Zadzad, who is the team captain for Space Violence. But there again, I think a great showing so far from Space Violence. Realistically, we knew this was going to be a tough match for them, and it's proven to be the case. I think that ultimately the scoreline will be a little bit harsh to them. Realistically, it would have been nice if they could have just got a few points there.
It would have been, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen today. So it's just a matter of time before they take that Navy Scorpion down now.
Yeah, poor Stardust Miner is their time is almost it's definitely in view. So grapplers on their target pages, all the E-War, it is just literally moments until they disappear as well.
Yeah, and with a little under 5 minutes left, they're just going to finish it off. So, yep, that's where we're going to go.
But anyway, great showing there by both teams. Well executed, especially that kind of initial engagement. Reavers, 70 points, clean sweep. Unfortunately.